Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Soundstage EDU. And if you're new here, I'm Mike, your friendly neighborhood arts advocate who believes that the bake sale has its place, but not as your whole strategy. Today is going to be part 2 of 4 of a series on high margin fundraisers that actually move the needle without burning out your parents. Now, I know it's been a hot minute since we've gotten back to this topic. I started it. And it's time I work on finishing it. A lot has gone on in between then and now, and you guys know that. You've been following along, but we're playing catch up. So we're going to get back to this and get you guys the information that you need. So today we're going to hit 3 different plays that you can roll out this semester or any time really. And that will be And you know, not all of these are going to fit, all right? Not all of these will be applicable to everyone. These are ideas. This is to help you guys start thinking about a bigger picture. And not just big events and not just bake sales and selling stuff. There's going to be some of that. Obviously. But we're putting ideas out there, ideas that I've seen work for other people, and they may not work for you, but I mean, you get the idea, right? So today we're going to talk about VIP parking and a front row seat auction. Of course, this may not really be applicable to a marching band, right? You don't really have front row seats and you can't control the stadium. But you get the idea. Maybe you can't control the parking lot either during a football game. But these are just ideas, guys. Where this would be applicable is like, say, a theater or a choir. You can do that. You have control of your space. Another one will be sponsor a seat. You know, doing auditorium plaques or something like that. And we'll also address, and this is because I see this happening a lot, a mattress sale. Not the hugest fan of high cost item fundraisers like that, but I mean, in some communities, you never know. If the marketing's good, it's going to work. So over on buymeacoffee.com/soundstageedu, I will be putting documents in there that coincide with this series of episodes on fundraising. They're not there yet, as I'm recording this, but they'll be there soon. That much I promise you. And if you come across this episode like 4 or 5 months later and you go, then they're still not there, then I must have fallen off the face of the earth. But I will get those out there. If it's still, what? It's November. If it's still November 2025, shoot, if it's still 2025, those might not even be in there yet because we are that busy right now. But they'll be in there. Will be, it's the same kind of documents that I use when I walk boards through these types of plans. So grab those. They'll be free for you guys. Planners and scripts, ideas, just kind of the roadmap, kind of a look inside of my brain, which that's scary, but whatever, right? And also, if you want a deep dive on these, then join the Soundstage EDU Insiders feed. You've seen those episodes on here. They got a little lock on them. We're going to take each one of these ideas and we're going to break them down one by one insider episodes, which are a little more longer format. And we will have documents with budgets and seller scripts and signage templates. And we'll have Q&A inside of our private community there. So the links for that will be in your either the show notes or the description of the episode, or just attached to the social where you found this. So let's start with VIP parking and front row seat auctions. And the reason this one is great, the reason I like this one so much is because it is pure scarcity plus convenience. You know, scarcity, FOMO. and convenience. Those go hand in hand. And here's the deal. You have no inventory, no storage, just straight up value for the patron. Parents and grandparents love it because it makes performance nights effortless. You're not fighting for seats. You're not fighting for a parking spot. You've already got this one in the bag. So what's great about this one is that there's no cost of goods. Your margin is excellent. There's going to be, pretty easy effort on your end. The coordination's light, then there's some signage. Oh, pardon my yawn, y'all. But, what's the risk involved here? Because we've been talking about, effort and risk on these things. You need to coordinate with admin. You need to respect the ADA. And you need to publish dates and terms very clearly. So here's some steps of how this would work in practice. First, you want to pick the perks. 1 reserved parking space near the entrance and 2 front row seats for the entire season. Or do a per concert version if you're testing, Brand it with simple signage. Once they've, your person has made the purchase, give them a simple aluminum sign with family name and laminated seat tags. And promise a quick thank you from the stage each show. That way you're letting the audience know that you have an initiative in place, allowing people to partner with you guys and support the arts and make their evening a little more convenient. And auction it. Use your concert intermission or go online for a week and close it live. People like that. And, maybe bundle in a season VIP package, parking and 2 reserved seats, backstage tour, some merch, maybe if you guys have it. Increase the value of it. And the auction will, depending on the buy-in from the patron, parent, grandparent, you may pull in a lot more than you ever expected from this. And if one works, then do it again the next show and keep adding to it. So then you need to fulfill it. Put cones or reserved covers on the seats. A student usher greets the family at the door. Snap a photo for socials with permission. Do you see how this works? You don't have to put a grand plan down on paper to make this work. You just have to be a little more creative and use the assets that you have to your advantage. The seats are already there. The parking spots are already in the parking lot. Just leverage it to help you guys fulfill the needs that you need within your program. So how would you pitch it? Right? What would you say? That's often what people ask me when we start talking about things like this. They're like, well, what do I say? You guys lock up. And I get that. I'm the same way. It makes me nervous too. I don't like talking to people in person. That's okay. Together we can get through this. Together we can find a way to help you ease into the process. So I will tell you what you need to say. So here's something that you can do on a social post when you start talking about this. You start promoting this idea. Something like this. Do you hate circling the lot? Tonight, you can win your own reserved parking spot and 2 front row seats for the whole season. Every dollar funds student musicians and actors. We'll announce the winner after intermission. Good luck. It's exactly what we talked about at the beginning. It's scarcity, status, comfort. That makes them want to spend the money. The VIP bundles, signage, and script are going to be inside of that. What's the word? Companion. Sorry, guys. Don't have notes like I normally do. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants here today. But in the VIP bundle that we're talking about here, that will also be included in the scripting companion pack that we're going to put on buymeacoffee.com/soundstage.edu. Feel free to support there as well. In the insiders feed, we will cover starting price, soft close tactics, and how to run a second chance mini auction without looking grabby. You know, people sense that stuff. We want to keep it low entry. Like when we talk about our volunteer pipelines, we want to give them an easy on-ramp. This is no different. So moving on from, a parking spot in a front row seat, or maybe you run into a person that doesn't want a front row seat. They want the seat in the middle. That's me. That's where I want to sit. Again, creativity. And again, apologies. No real good notes here. Sometimes I'm going to speak about the things that pop into my head. So let's move on to the next play that you can do here. Sponsor a seat. This is legacy giving that quietly stacks revenue all year long for you guys. Because people love to see their family name in the room where it happens. There's good margin here. There's a little effort. You need to map it out. You need to get a vendor for these plaques that you want to put on a seat. And then they need to be installed. You need to, and there are, these aren't risks, but these are things that you need to consider. You need facilities approval. You need to understand the lead times on your plaque vendor. And then you need to have clear inscription rules for said vendor. And for the person purchasing this sponsor a seat, because they want input on how that's going to work. So you want to map the room. Front section, premium, mid, standard, rear, value. Interior pricing accordingly. Example, and again, these are examples. $750, $500, $250. And then the inscription, it'll have the family name. It'll be in honor of, with character limit, of course, because it's only so big. And then launch this thing with urgency. It's that whole FOMO thing again. First 50 plaques installed by the winter concert. And you might be thinking 50. Yes, give them the big number. That makes people think that your urgency has purpose. That makes people think that there's a lot of people that want these and they're going to want to get in quickly. You see how this works? It's not grabby. It's not salesy. It's psychology. And then track these all and celebrate. Publicly fill a seat map as spots sell. Post tidy rows of finished plaques each quarter so that everyone can see that this is happening. That will make more people want to get on board to get their name on a seat. And maybe you can cap the whole project. I said, hey, first 50, maybe you have a 500 seat auditorium and you're only going to do 100 seats. That's that FOMO. That urgency. People are like, oh my gosh, I need to get in on this quickly. Because that's legacy for their family. Because it stays there all the time. So, say you're doing a concert or it's opening night and you have the announcements from the stage before you go. You could say, or have somebody say, put your name where the music lives. Sponsor a seat in our auditorium. Your plaque stays for the life of the chair. And your gift funds instruments, microphones, and student fees. The first 50 go in before our winter concert. Claim yours tonight. Something like that. Be creative. For these folks, there's permanence, there's identity, there's visibility, and people like that. And we'll put a seat map based on a venue that I know, some plaque specs and honor warding, a cheat sheet, if you will, that will also be on the buymeacoffee.com/soundstage.edu page once we get it in there. Like I said, all of these things are going to be in there. And again, back to our insiders, we will walk through it as a group. And as an insider episode, we'll have pricing by sightline, vendor quotes, install timelines, and even a 3 email launch sequence that fills your first 50 seats fast. We're going to help you market the whole thing. And we will discuss it in real time inside of the Insiders Facebook group, because we've got boosters and parents in there that are taking action and wanting to get these things done. Now, I know this one is polarizing, but here's the deal. With the right partner and clean transparency, you can do a strong one-day cash infusion that doesn't chew volunteer hours for weeks. And that's a mattress sale. The margin on this is going to vary by vendor, and it's going to vary on the volume that you guys manage to produce. The effort is going to come from you guys having to push this thing. You're going to have to promote this thing hard. And you're going to need day of hosts on site. There is some public perception risk with something like this. You need to be radically clear about the give back percentage, delivery, haul away, and where the money actually goes. People see these high margin things and or not necessarily high margin, they see these high value items being sold in fundraisers and they automatically become skeptical. They want to know about quality. They want to know, are we actually supporting this fine arts group? How much are they actually getting? And how much of this is just a grab by the vendor to try and sell mattresses and grab a big commission? Those are all valid concerns and fair responses from the parent group. So you need to be very clear about the public's perception of this kind of a fundraiser. And you need to also make sure that your vendor is doing it ethically, that they're not reserving a portion of the sale to go back to the referrer. I have seen that happen. And when you're operating as a 501c3, that can be a red flag. So when you're looking for a vendor to do this, you need to confirm warranty details. You need to confirm price points, and your exact revenue split needs to be in writing with no additional referral fees going back to students. I'm going to say that again because that really became a big topic in one thread where I saw, and they were defending it with, I mean, they were viciously defending this position, saying that they could do this and they've done it before. How many times have you guys heard me say, well, we've always done it that way, is like crippling. Same thing. Well, this is how we did it before. They always do it this way. And then one day the IRS comes knocking. Make sure your vendor is reputable. Okay? And then set one Saturday in the future so you have time to promo strong. You know, a gym or a cafeteria, that becomes your showroom. You want to promo hard with yard signs, window posters at partner businesses, student referral codes, hit alumni and staff lists. Promo this thing like you would your fall musical. Promo it hard. And then, again, we want to track and celebrate. Publish the gross, the check amount, and exactly what it funded. Exactly. Hey, we funded 12 wireless mic body packs and cases. It's a huge win. 12 wireless mic body packs. You're with the good quality product, that's 24 grand. Let the people feel the impact that they're participating in. So here's a quick role play pitch. So you need a new bed? Buy it from people who love our kids. One day only, brand name mattresses with full warranties delivered and your old ones hauled away. A slice of every sale funds our students. You sleep better. We sound better. And I mean, this is, here's how this really benefits you guys. You have a high ticket average and now or never messaging to these folks. And so the day of, you got people coming in or they're waiting in line. Hard to believe. But if you promo this thing correctly, you will have a line of people standing outside the store or the venue, wherever you're at. I've worked with an individual who is an expert at drumming up a crowd. Puns intended. He can get people standing in line outside of a store that's getting ready to close or whatever, just based on promo behavior. And he does it in a short amount of time. So this is something that I can also teach you because I work directly with this individual. But on the day of, you got the people staying outside of the venue where you're doing the sale. Hey, everybody, quick clarity. Our program receives X amount percentage of eligible sales today. When your friend buys with your student's code, we track it and announce the totals next week. Your purchases today directly fund, insert whatever you're funding for. Thank you. And I say insert what you're funding for because this part of fundraising is extremely important. You don't just ask people to give you money. You tell them why they're giving you money, what they're specifically funding. That's very important in the psychology of all of this. You work that into all of your promos and all of your asks, you're going to find more success. So we will also have documentation, tips, tricks, whatever, for this transparency piece and frequently asked questions that you will get asked at the sale. We will give you some ideas for yard sign art and student code tracker. And all of that will be at, you guessed it, buymeacoffee.com/soundstage.edu. And in our insiders, we'll unpack vendor vetting. We'll get very specific about it. We'll talk about the pitfalls and the things that I have seen that have caused troubles and nightmares for some groups. And then we'll talk about traffic targets, how to actually drive the promo properly using social media. And then a 72-hour promo calendar that pushes fence sitters to show up on the day of. Because here's the thing, when you're marketing any idea, if you don't give people to move, they won't do it. If you don't tell them to do it, guess what? They won't do it. People sometimes need you to come alongside and tell them exactly what it is they need to do. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, they do it. Because they just need help getting off that fence. So there you have it, guys. That's part 2. That's 3 plays that you can roll out quickly. Your VIP parking and front row seats. Your sponsor a seat for that legacy and identity. And a mattress sale. 1 day cash, with transparency. So follow the show so that parts 3 and 4 land automatically. We'll get to them soon, I promise, but they're coming. And then rate and review the show. If this is helping you, let us know. And then tell us, leave 1 sentence about which idea you'll try first, because that helps other boosters find this. When you're actively engaging with us, other people will find it, and we're helping the whole community. And then make sure you go and download the free planner and scripts at buymeacoffee.com/soundstage.edu. There's plenty of other things out there for you as well that are going to help you, but I promise we'll get this documentation out there as soon as possible. And then join the Soundstage EDU Insiders feed for deep dives, budgets, and read this on the mic scripts that you can use this week when you go live with these fundraising initiatives. So I am Mike. I believe in your kids, your program, and the culture that you're building. So go out there and make art happen. And send me your wins so we can shout you out on the next episode of the Soundstage EDU podcast. You guys have been great. You're doing great work. Let's continue to raise the bar together.